Hey there, friends. I wanted to jump on here and have a quick little discussion about leadership because it's something that I think a lot of people get wrong. Okay, so little backstory. If you don't know, I have a show here in Las Vegas called Leading Las Vegas. And one of the reasons why I wanted to do that show is because I was born and raised here in Las Vegas, and Las Vegas gets a really bad rep a lot of the times, right? But when you live here and you're part of the community, you learn how much cool stuff is happening here in Vegas, how cool the entrepreneur scene is, and how many people are stepping up to create new things and lead people. And you wouldn't think that it was happening here in Sin City, but it is. And that is why I started Leading Las Vegas and why I invite people who I feel are the exact representation of what a leader encompasses to be on the show. Okay, so I get a lot of suggestions of people that I should bring on the show, right? And a lot of people will say, "Oh, you know who you should bring on the show? This guy. Oh, he's so successful. He's so successful." And I'm like, okay, what do you mean he's successful? Like he is so successful. He kills it in business. He has his company, he does this and that. And I'm like, okay, but how is he a leader? Okay. So I'm going to go through some myths that people think a leader is. And I want to give you guys some traits that I feel are really important when it comes to leadership. And I'd love to know if you consider yourself a leader or not, because I feel like a lot of people actually are leaders and they just don't know it because they don't see themselves at a certain level of success to qualify as actually being a leader, right? So also I will have people on the show that I have heard about and reached out to or know in person and know them to be a leader. And some people will be like, I've never heard of that person, right? That does not mean that they're not a leader because they're not super famous or very, very well known, right? Leaders come in all different shapes, forms, sizes, and social whatever. Let's go through some things that being a leader is not. Okay. Number one, we started to talk about this. It's not being famous. Being a leader has nothing to do with how much of a celebrity you are at all. In fact, when somebody becomes super famous or in the spotlight and they obtain a lot of followers and people start doing things because this person said or because they do it, that is not leadership. That is idolizing somebody. Completely different. And a lot of people follow idols instead of following leaders, and they shouldn't, okay? Leadership is not being an appointed manager. If somebody has given you the the badge and the job and the ability to tell people what to do and boss them around and people have to listen to you because you were appointed that position, that's not leadership. Now, a manager can be a leader. A manager can take initiative and lead, but just being a manager by itself is not leadership, right? Being a business owner or having your own company is not leadership. That's just being a business owner or being an entrepreneur or having a business. Like, that is not leadership. Again, if you have employees and you're paying them, you're managing them, but you're not necessarily leading them. You could be leading them at the same time, but those two things those are mutually exclusive, okay? And lastly, of this list, being an elected official is not being a leader. Again, you can be an elected official, a politician, you could be voted in, and also encompass leadership skills and lead people, but not every elected official is a leader. A lot of elected officials are only in that position because they campaigned and they lobbied and they got the position because they have their own agenda. So obviously, a lot of elected officials and politicians have good intentions, and that's awesome. And many of those people are stepping up and being leaders, but don't assume that just because somebody has a position that they are qualified to lead. Okay. Now, I want to talk about what leadership really is. And this is extremely important because a lot of people don't take the initiative to claim the title leader, and they need to, because we need better people leading this country, the world, the state of Nevada, and the city of Las Vegas, which is exactly why I love to spotlight real leaders doing things to create change in the city. Okay? Nobody can appoint a leader. There's no possible way for me to turn someone into a leader. There's no way for me to say that person is now the leader. That's only management, okay? The only person who can create a leader is that person themselves. And it takes taking action and having one follower, okay, by choice. Real leaders, although they are not afraid of the spotlight and they are okay with being the one, like being the voice, they also they bring other people up. Their goal is to help other people, help them lead whatever thing they're trying to do. Okay. And so oftentimes the leader is the only one in the spotlight. That's okay. In the background, the leader needs to be inspiring, motivating, rewarding, and making sure that everybody helping, even if those people are not necessarily the faces of the whatever, they need to be brought up. Okay, so managers like to make other people smaller because they're usually a threat to them. A lot of politicians don't give a crap about the people that they're supposed to serve. They're smaller than them, right? A real leader in whatever role they're playing wants other people to succeed, and they're not intimidated by other people surpassing them, as long as those people are still in the same tribe and they know that they're all on the same page, they have the same mission. A real leader is totally fine with other people going further than them, doing better than them, whatever it is. The goal is a mission to make some change, right? Leaders create new opportunities. They see new opportunities and they go for it. They don't look for things that work because they're trying to get some sort of success or trying to duplicate something. Real leaders are trying to find gaps that when things aren't working and create opportunities and provide solutions. That's what leadership is. It's not about just doing another good thing that worked before. It's about growth, leadership, pushing forward, and ultimately creating change. I always bring everything back to change, right? I'm always like, change the world, change the world. But that's what we need. Even if things are good, our world is always changing, and the ways that we do things and organizations and people and structures and all sorts of things always need to be changed. And we're going to need leaders to be the one to drive everyone, okay? Leaders will always try something new and they will fail. And then they'll try something else new and then they will fail. And try and fail and try and fail. And they cannot be intimidated by that because just like we were talking about, we're going after new opportunities and you have to be willing to not have success at something and you have to be able to take the blame. Take the criticism. Again, a manager, when something goes wrong, they delegate tasks and things are not completed, a manager is going to blame it on the subordinates. Oh, well, I was delegating and that person didn't do their job and that person, whatever. But a real leader, even if they're a manager, business owner, whatever it is, a real leader will realize that they were ultimately in charge of making sure that the people in the systems and all of the tasks and everything were done to completion, right? They take the blame. They don't blame things on others. And they're first to give credit to people when things are good, and they're the first to take the blame when things are bad. Leadership is about acting, taking action because you care, and oftentimes leaders act even if there isn't any type of monetization tied to it. Now, hopefully, there is some sort of monetization because we need leaders who are making money, and we need leaders to have that power, because money is power. So while you're leading, it's okay to have some sort of way to charge people. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay to be a business owner and have high end services and not feel bad about it because you are asking for money. The leaders need to have money, but at the same time, when you are doing these things in the world, a lot of the work that you put in you don't get any pay for. And it's not just because you're doing it and you hope it's going to pay off later. It's because you know that ultimately this is work that you're going to have to do. And there's no way to tie a value to that, a price tag. But a leader will say, okay, fine, it needs to get done, I'll do it. And someone who's not a leader is going to be like, well, what am I supposed to do and how much am I going to get paid? All right. That's the huge difference between leadership and business owners or managers. Leaders make decisions. Holy hell, this is such a big one. Okay, that's what she said. Dun, dun, ding. I personally know so many people who have leadership potential, who are very cause orientated and full of great ideas and intelligence. And they are the people that should be leading shit, right? But they do not take action because they're paralyzed by decision making. Okay, so like just to go back to the whole leaders try and fail thing, that's fine. Like, it's totally fine to try something and it doesn't work and you fail and you suck and you have to admit that you sucked and you have to take people's criticism. That's fine. Okay, you're still a leader if you did something and you failed. Okay, you're not a leader if you have the best idea, a better idea than that person's idea, or you see how something could be better, or you figured it out but you take no action. A leader needs to take action, and action comes from making decisions. You're never going to know the correct course of action until you've taken one of them and found out for yourself. If you're lucky, the first time is a winner. If you're like most of us, it's not. Okay, so make decisions, be willing to fail, put yourself out there, take action forward. That's what leadership is. Leaders are unapologetically honest. Honest. Okay, you're probably thinking of politicians right now and being like, they're not honest. They're not honest. A lot of politicians are not honest. A lot of business owners are not honest. A lot of managers are not honest. A lot of celebrities are not honest. Leaders are honest, and leaders do not care about being liked. They are usually trying to be nice to people, and they need to be working on their personality, because a leader, if you're going to assume the role of a leader, you need to have a personality that's going to resonate. So if you struggle with that, if you're socially isolated, if you're shy, whatever, totally fine. Work on it. It's not a requirement, but leaders need to have a pleasing personality, but that does not mean that they are a pushover. Okay. Leaders are honest and they're not people pleasers. So people pleasers are going to tell you whatever it is that you want to hear so they can get the next thing. Or they're going to tell you whatever sounds good because they are controversy averse and they don't want to have negative shit happening. You know, they're going to try to avoid tough conversations. They're going to deflect, certain topics because it's not pretty. No. Now, leaders are not mean, and they're not cynics, and they're not judgmental, and they're not negative, but they're realistic and they're honest. So if shit's bad, a real leader is going to tell you shit is bad, and a real leader is not going to shy away from having the tough discussion, and they're not going to be afraid of being disliked for their opinions. A real leader is going to be honest about their values, their mission, the people around them, their past, everything, and be willing to accept the criticism, be willing to be disliked because they know that the only way to have followers, which is people who also resonate with them and share their mission and are going to help them accomplish whatever task or cause they're trying to achieve, the only way to have those types of people are to tell is to tell the truth. Okay, if you start lying because you don't like it, it's not fun, it's not cute, it's whatever, or you're trying to be nice, you got to be honest. Okay, those are pretty much what I think are the qualities of leadership. And now if you think back to those things that I went through, that they take the blame, that they are honest, that they take action and they try and they fail, none of that has anything to do with social status. None of that has anything to do with where you are in life. There's no prerequisite to be a leader. There's no type of success or accomplishment or anything you need to have to be a leader. All you have to do is you have to care, and you have to continue learning, and you have to be willing to put yourself out there, and you have to be willing to take action, be willing to fail, be willing to be disliked, and be willing to do what it takes to inspire people and create change. And to circle back, that's what my show, Leading Las Vegas, is about. The leaders that I have on the show are not necessarily the most famous people in the world. In fact, I've turned down some people that are celebrities here in town that have shows here, like on the Strip. I've even said no to people that are extremely successful in business that I just don't really know enough about, that some people might view as leaders. But the people who I have on my show are the people who are the people I described, that are making a difference because they care and putting themselves out there and trying to change shit in the world for the better. Okay. And if you guys know anybody who lives in Las Vegas or has some tie-in with Las Vegas, is making a difference in the city, you can go to leadinglasvegas.com and you can submit them to be a guest on the show. And if you guys want to catch up on past episodes, you can go watch them all there at leadinglasvegas.com, or you can click the button to get notified via Facebook when there are new episodes out. Raising the awareness of the ocean and helping people, totally. Well, Vinny like schooled me. I'm sitting here drinking like 8 cups of coffee from my Keurig, and he's like, that those are destroying the oceans and that sea turtles. And I'm like, well, fuck. I'm like, well, I'm like sitting here, I've got my mug, I'm like drinking, I'm like, oh, now you just ruined that for me. Thank you.